All right, lots of stuff to report. We're busy with the audit. The auditors actually showed up in person. We didn't think they would, but they stayed for 3 days. They collected information, and we're working through that. We hope to have that finished in the next couple of weeks. Once it's completed, we will email it out to you. It'll be available at the annual meeting. Capital transfer fee. In your document that you have, the handout, it says 94,000. We're already over 100,000. Just in a couple of days, it went up. The problem we're going to have is we've almost run out of real estate to sell. There's only about 14 homes, John, currently on the market. Most of the homes don't even make it to multiple listing. They're just sold by word of mouth. So we are in a very, very hot real estate market. And if you look at the back, I did a comparison between November and present. You can see the prices have gone up quite significantly, as well as the number of homes that are sold. Advertising has popped back up. It's not totally where we want it, but it is moving in the right direction. The Conservancy Foundation, you guys have been great. You outdid last year. You can see the numbers for Plantation Living in there for advertising and what we project for March. They're probably a little bit higher than the 12,240. The board's ballots and proxies, you should have received that in the mail by now. If you have not, checked with the office. Somebody handed me their ballot. If you want to hand in your ballot, you can hand it in to Margie. Make sure the envelope is sealed. We'll collect those for you and bring them back to the POA office. Okay, assessments. We were concerned because of COVID that we might slack off on assessments. We sent out late notices last week. We sent out about just under 60, and we sent out the same number last year. No change, which is really bodes well. You know, these are financially stressful times, but we came through it last year very, very well. We'll most likely end last year to the good of budget by well over $100,000 is my prediction, and we're already off to a good start this year. I was afraid that there would be many more folks who are financially strapped and weren't able to make that assessment payment, and having below 60 is a very, very good, very, very good number. Cypress Gate. Anyone have a problem with their barcode? If you have a problem with your barcode, we think we've narrowed it down to a bad set of barcodes, a bad batch. Go over to the POA office, we'll swap it out for you. I had mine swapped out because mine was working about 50% of the time, and once I got the new barcode, every single time it's worked. So if you're having a problem with that, go to the office, we'll swap it out, no charge. We have new doors at the POA Service Center, if you've been over there. We're bidding for a front end loader, and David was able to work his magic. Is it a Caterpillar too, David? Yes. A front end loader. Rather than get a brand new one for about $120,000, we were able to get a very, very good used one that we will use for loading our wood hog, which makes our mulch, for $37,000. And that will serve us well for many, many years. 278 Corridor Review. This is a project for those new, looking at 278 from the Cross Island Parkway all the way to the Moss Creek Light. And lots of different recommendations. The town and the county have hired an independent consultant to look at it, and right now that independent consultant is just looking at it. I don't have any updates on that whatsoever at this point in time. Security Department continues to do very well. We had that one rash of automobile break-ins last year. We have not had anything since then. We continue to respond to medicals. We do let the emergency management folks go in there first, and the EMTs go in first. We will follow in as long as it's safe. We hope to get back to normal. In fact, we believe the security officers have moved up and they can get vaccinated in that 1A group. and as soon as we can find enough vaccine. I know some of you are probably scheduled to get it. I was scheduled to get it and canceled my appointment for next week, so because of lack of vaccine. But we're trying to work with some of the local pharmacies to see if we can't get the security officers and staff vaccinated. The convenience center over on Hilton Head. They say they're checking barcodes over there. I've gone over there a dozen times. They've checked my barcode once. I know that they're working on that front entranceway. I really don't think they're going to stick to that barcode strictly until that whole entrance is redone. And they're just taking out trees at this point. They really haven't moved anything around. We continue to do repairs on our leisure paths. I just signed a bunch of bills for our contractor this morning with David, and security is going to look at changing their attire a little bit. The patrol officers are going to go to not a t-shirt, but a polo shirt, which is a little bit lighter, especially in the winter, in the summer. They wear those Kevlar vests, and it really does get hot. It gives them the opportunity when they're off duty or taking a break to take that Kevlar vest off for a short period of time to let their skin breathe. I think we're going to do a fashion show at the next security committee meeting tomorrow. Yes. And then we'll do a fashion show here. I already have a couple of officers who volunteered to model the new shirts. The January security activities report is attached. If you want to take a look at that. And communications department is going to work with the RV. We're almost out of maps, and it's time to update the map. We have changed some things on the property. Old Fort Pub, as you know, is on the chopping block. It will be, I believe, 22 condominium units. It hasn't been finalized yet, but I suspect in the next year and a half, the Old Fort Pub will close, and we will start doing some renovations to that. So that map is going to change, and there's some other significant changes to the map that Leah is going to incorporate. And then we're going to look for sponsors, because every single one of those maps we basically had a sponsor for, and it didn't cost us anything to print it and develop it. Wait for air traffic control to finish its run. If you're a tennis player, 6 of the courts have been totally rebuilt. The other 6 have been resurfaced. Tomorrow, we're going to have a food truck festival over in this parking lot, Christy? Or right here? Right here. 3 food trucks? Yeah. Well, 3 food trucks here. If it works out, we're going to try and entice some of those trucks to come during the summer to service the pool and the tennis courts. So we'll see how that works out. USTA tennis, if you're a tennis player, we're bringing that back. It already started, and we're going to do that on a limited basis with a lot of protection. We're going to do a St. Patrick's Day, Harry O'Heron's Irish Pub. You can sign up for food. We're going to have a couple of Irish singers. You can come and listen to the music free of charge. If it rains, we're going to cancel the music, but you can pick up the food if you paid for it. I think you sign up for that. It's $20 a person for the meal, and admissions is free just to come to enjoy the music, and that's over at the Spring Lake Pavilion. Cooking Live program is kicked off. I think several of them already sold. How many have you sold out, Chrissy?
All of them are sold out except the last one.
All of them are sold out, except for the last one. Very popular. We already talked about new home sales. Bocce is underway. Last year we did this in lieu of the Easter egg hunt and brunch. We sold Easter baskets. We're going to do the same thing again. I think we upped the price from $10 to $12. I forget how many hundreds of Easter baskets the Easter Bunny gave out, but it was really a neat activity. Easter Bunny comes to your home, delivers the basket. If you have grandchildren or children, they do it social distance and lots of picture opportunities, and everybody has a good time. One one property owner bought one for everyone on her cul-de-sac. I think she bought, 10 of them because she had 10 people on her cul-de-sac. Worked out very well. The third phase of the Grandview, which is supposed to go in next to the property that's at the corner of Skull Creek and Santa Maria Drive, that has been approved for 12 townhouses forever. And they just have not broken ground on that. Why in this real estate market they haven't is beyond me. But they have not broken ground. We'll talk about Dolphin Head. The surveyors have been down there for about 2.5 months, and they finally have the whole area surveyed. We then met with Wooden Partners and the tree person from the town to go over the trees because there are specimen trees there. Now we're going to put, or Wooden Partners is going to put everything on paper on that official plat. Once that's done, we need to go to the town and talk about the trees that might be in the way that may need to be removed, or the building may have to be moved around the trees. So that's the next step in the process. The annual meeting is March 27th. We're going to do it right here, outside, weather permitting. So put that on your calendars. We also did a beach renourishment, which I didn't report, but everyone who's been down to Pine Island can see the amount of sand we placed there. $100,000 of that was town money. And we used those funds for fiscal year 2021. The new fiscal year starts in July for the town. It'll be fiscal year 21-22. And our job is to lobby the town to put that $100,000 in their budget for 21-22. It's a big, big help. Next year, in our fiscal year 22, we're going to be looking at engineering to look at renourishing the beach, possibly extending the boardwalk, and asking if we can go back to sand scraping. That'll be a project we hire a consulting firm to do out of our reserve budget for 2022. Okay, a couple of things on alligators. If you're new, we have alligators, we have coyotes, we have snakes, lizards, possums, raccoons, and they all live here, and they were all here long before we got here. Don't feed the alligators. If you feed an alligator, you're sentencing that alligator to death, because if they associate humans with food, they'll approach a human, and then we consider it dangerous, and it can't be relocated, it has to be put down. So if you feel that an alligator is aggressive, you need to contact security. They'll make a determination on that. And use some common sense. This is why we don't have dogs off leashes, and don't let your pet swim in a lagoon. More than once, on more than one occasion, we've had a pet in a lagoon and it's taken by an alligator and drowned. I mean, that's what they do. You're in their habitat, and that's their natural instinct. And you don't get between a mama alligator's eggs and her nest, because they will act aggressively to protect that nest. So be careful around the alligators. You can take a look at the stats that John Herron was very, very gracious in providing me at the home sales, and compare the February ones to the ones back in November. You can see that the average prices have gone up significantly, as well as the number of homes sold, and we are down significantly in inventory. John calls it 0.5 months. It's not 0.5 of a year, it's 0.5 of a month. Is that correct, John? Correct. And about 14 homes. So my fear at this point is that we're going to run out of homes to sell, which is a really good place to be. All right, Lori, I'm going to have you introduce the candidates, and then we can open it up questions. How's that? Okay.
Mother Nature finally smiled on us, which is a good thing. Before I reintroduce the candidates to you, I want to take just a second and acknowledge the nominating committee, who, for a few new folks, is in accordance with our bylaws, is comprised of past presidents. And with their experiences as a past president, they certainly are aware of the skills and talents and experience necessary to put forth a good candidate slate. So with that, I'd like to introduce, going from right to left, Rex Garnowitz. And next to him is Jim Tiley. And next to him is John Herron, who we pointed out to you a couple of times this morning. Next to him is George Haley, and some of you may know him from his involvement here in tennis. And last but not least is Edward Shotland. And as Peter had said, after the meeting, you're invited to go over and, with proper social distancing, greet them, chat with them, and get to know them a little bit better. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. We talked about past presidents. I see two in the audience. There may be more. Terry Conway, raise your hand, Terry. Terry was president twice. Glutton for punishment. Tony Matthews, all the way in the back. Immediate past president. And Tony had the fastest annual meeting on record. It was what, 7 minutes, Tony?
9 minutes.
9 minutes, a 9-minute annual meeting last year because of COVID. Any other past presidents that I missed in the audience?
And I apologize to my nominating committee for failure to identify them. Tony and Terry, Jim Ogden, Jim Collette, Harry Myers, Doug Skelly, Dick Self, and Werner Sifko were the other gentlemen who gave up, donated their time and efforts to screen the applications and the candidates. And thank you to all of them.
Thanks, Lord. Questions? Can't hear them, Marty. Ma'am, come as close as you can and you talk really, really loud. I'll try and repeat the question.
Okay. So my question is on the proxy ballot that we got. It says if you vote your proxy, that those votes will be cast by Ann Schwab, who's the secretary.
Correct.
I guess that's the process. But does Ann really decide all of those votes herself?
If something is on the agenda to be decided, yes, she would. If there was something on the agenda to be decided at the annual meeting, she could cast all of those ballots, yes. And it's not for the board. It is for something that may come before the assembly, and there is nothing on the agenda to come before the assembly.
Oh, I see.
It is merely to establish a quorum. So her presence by representing you establishes decorum because she represents everyone who's not there.
So she can vote, she can or cannot vote for candidates?
Cannot. She can vote herself
Sure.
for her own property, but she cannot vote for candidates for anybody else, no.
Oh, okay.
That is merely for quorum purposes, and if there is anything else on the agenda, like waiving the reading of the minutes, accepting the agenda, but there's nothing on the agenda for the membership to vote on.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll use my mom voice, because everybody says that's much louder. Good morning. My question is this. I appreciate you doing this. I appreciate the opportunity for the members of the community to get to see you, talk to you. But my concern is we don't see and talk to the board. And in the other communities on the island, they have the ability. Oh, there. Whoa, now I'm
Press the button underneath.
All right, just keep on going, ma'am.
right. Hopefully everybody can hear me. The other communities have the ability through various means to communicate with their board members. And as the new board members who are getting elected, you know, I would hope that they don't.
Ma'am, if there's a question, ask the question.
I'm
If
getting
there's
there.
if it's a
I'm getting
speech,
there.
then
I'm
we
getting there. My question is this: why can't we talk and communicate directly with our board members? Why does it have to be through our manager, who is the employee of the board members? That's my question.
Well, thank you for that question. The board members are here. Please, by all means, talk to them. You can email the board members, and they will receive that email. If you need a response from them, they'll respond to it. They attend all of the coffees. They attend the annual meeting, and they are here to converse with you. They make themselves very much available. However, we don't want residents knocking at their door or, calling their cell phones directly. They need a semblance of privacy. There's a way to do that, and they channel that, through me. But everything that a member sends me as regarding a question to a board member goes to the board member. So they hear everything that you say, every question.
I think what I'm understanding what she said, she wants to talk to the board members, so everyone can hear the response, not for it. In light of that, I understand there's going to be another issue with changing the minutes. And with that, I'd like to know, each and every one of the board members, how they feel. How do they stay here? Because that will dictate how I vote.
Well, then you feel free to talk to them after the meeting.
But I want everybody else to hear
All
how
right.
they feel. Not just me personally.
Okay.
But I think the people here represent what we want. Is there a question?
Yeah, that's not a question, that's a statement.
I'm asking about the issue.
And
Voted on it, defeated
all 5 of them are here. Feel free to go over and ask them.
they answer to the public, not me personally.
We're not set up for a forum today, ma'am. Thank you. Other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Do they have any plans in the future to put a tag reader at the front gate so that when there's only one guard, we're not stuck behind a lot of traffic trying to get home?
All right, the question is, do we have any plans to put a barcode reader at the front gate? And the short answer is not at this time. In the future, yes. And the problem is we need to reconfigure the entire front gate to do that. The barcode reader, the arm can only cycle so many cars through, and you have a fire station right there, and you can't get them through fast enough if that fire truck or the EMT needs to get through. The other issue is we need to have our eyes and officers' eyes on the cars coming through that barcode reader. At the back gate, it's set up that way, so the officer has eyes on it. The way it's configured at the front gate now with the visitor's gate, an officer would not have their eyes on it. So
Why wouldn't we keep 2 gates open? Why not have 2 gates open? One for the members and one for...
well, we can staff it if we could staff it later if that's the issue. But at some point, after we finish with Dolphin Head, possibly this building, that'll be on the list. We actually asked folks which they would like to do, and the gate access or the gates were last on the list between Plantation House, Dolphin Head, and the gates. So I understand what you're saying, but it's more complicated than just putting in a barcode reader. But it is on the long-term radar. But it will require reconfiguration. Malcolm, I want an A for recognize you in sunglasses and a mask. And you're going to have to get up and get closer because I can't hear a word you're saying.
Did they catch the perpetrators of the car break-ins? And if so, was it an inside job or an outside job?
Did they catch the people doing the break-ins? Was it an inside job or an outside job? The answer is no, they didn't catch them. Beaufort County caught one person. We don't know if that was the individual that was responsible for our break-ins. Apparently, they've been traveling in a group all over the island and all over Bluffton. But we don't know if that individual is responsible. Hopefully, we'll find that out after they dig into it. Probably a minor, from what we can tell. Other questions? Wow. Okay, well, thank you all for coming. We appreciate you being here.